So today I'm joined by Chris from the Swan and Dolphin Resort over in next to Epcot in Orlando. So hi Chris and welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you very much, Martin. I really appreciate it and great to be here. Thanks so much.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. So let's quickly start off. You can make us all jealous. What's the weather like in Orlando today?
As we were chatting about before, it's actually gorgeous today. So in Fahrenheit, it's probably in the mid 70s, not humid, no clouds in the sky. But then by the end of this week, it's going to be pushing 90 degrees, which is pretty toasty for March for this time
Yeah.
of year. But again, the good thing is at least it's still not humid. We really will. That'll probably start coming in April. So long story short, it'll be sunny and warm for everyone to enjoy right now.
Yeah, it's a good time of the year to come, isn't it? Because you don't get the humidity that you get later in the year.
Oh
And you don't
yeah,
get the storms as well. Well, not as many storms.
right. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not usually April's when it starts getting that whole April showers bring May flowers. So April's when we start getting more rainy per se, and especially the summer months is where we have the daily thunderstorms. But right now it's infrequent as far as when the rain comes, and it's not nearly as humid, which is nice too.
Fantastic. Yeah, we always kind of recommend sort of beginning parts of the year. Parks are nice and quiet, sort of time to year to go,
Absolutely.
and the weather's good as well. You don't have to worry about too much about the weather. And also, you got the 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 flower and garden festivals just started as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, right next door to Epcot. So that's a fun event to enjoy and participate in.
It's a good place to start. So, why don't you tell everyone whereabouts you're located?
So yeah, we're very fortunate just to kind of give it. So we've got our three resorts: the Walt Disney World Swan, Walt Disney World Dolphin, which are connected by a walkway, and those are kind of our flagship resorts. They are both turning 35 years new this year. And then right across the street from us is what we like to call our new shiny penny, the Swan Reserve, which opened 2 years ago last November. So as far as location, all three of our resorts are located in the Epcot resort area, which is great because our Disney neighbors are Disney's Yacht and Beach and Boardwalk resorts. So we're all connected by walkway to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So you can walk to Epcot and Hollywood Studios from our resorts, but with our location, we're probably 10 to 15 minutes from the four Disney theme parks, as well as Disney Springs. But on top of that, and of course, this depends on traffic, we're probably 20 to 25 minutes from Universal Studios and SeaWorld. And then there's this huge Prime Outlets shopping complex in Lake Buena Vista, which is about, again, just depends on traffic, about 15 minutes away. So we're on site Disney, but we're also really close to all the key, a lot of major Orlando attractions, shopping, dining, et cetera. And then how we got to be here. So as you probably may or may not know, our hotels are unique because we're fully managed by Marriott, but we're on Disney property. And how we got to be here was way back when Epcot was first being built. Our primary ownership is called Tishman Hotels. And they basically reached out to Disney and said, "Hey, Disney, if we help you build Epcot, will you allow us to build properties on your property?" So they negotiated this location, the Epcot Resort area. And at the time, we were the Swan and Dolphin were the first properties to open, and we signed a 99-year lease. So essentially, we're Disney's favorite stepchildren properties that pay a lot of rent. But that's how we got to be in this location. So we're very fortunate. Like, so we're on-site Disney, but we're really close to all the key Orlando attractions, shopping and dining as well.
I actually think it's probably the best location for any hotel in all of Orlando because the two parks that I spend the most time in Orlando is Epcot and Hollywood Studios, and you're right, pretty much bang in the center, 15 minutes, 10 minutes away from either of them. And as you said, if you want to go up to Universal, 25 minutes, really easy to get there. Super easy to get down to Disney Springs and then to go to the other two, Magic Kingdom
Mhm.
and to Animal Kingdom again. So with those ones, it'd be shuttle buses. That's right, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. So as far as that kind of ties into the Disney benefits, that's one of the questions we get a lot is since we're not owned by Disney, we do get a lot of questions. So what benefits do you provide to the customers or the guests since you're not owned by Disney? And the good answer is we really are on par with Disney as far as the benefits. So we have the complimentary transportation to all the Disney theme parks. So we've got the motor coaches that go to Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and Disney Springs. They run every 20 minutes or so. The one difference is that so during COVID, Prior to COVID, we were a part of Disney's bus system. But then when COVID came, we had to switch to utilizing, it's actually via Mears Transportation, but it's our own motor coaches. And again, the same frequency as far as going to the theme parks, and then every 20 minutes, and then they pick up until like an hour and a half after the theme parks close. But the one difference is that, so for Magic Kingdom, the buses will drop at the Tickets and Transportation Center. For Animal Kingdom, they drop at the bus charter lot. And then for Disney Springs, they drop at the side of Disney Springs closest to the Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
But then for Epcot and Hollywood Studios, as we both mentioned, you can actually walk to both, or we have those friendship water launches or water taxis that we share with the Yacht and Beach and Boardwalk. And again, those run also every 15 to 20 minutes. So that's a transportation wise. But on top of that, we have the 30-minute early access to all the Disney theme parks 7 days a week. And then we also have the extended hours benefits. So that particular benefit's where on certain days of the week, Disney will keep one of their theme parks open, up to 2 hours after the theme park regular closing hours. And that particular benefit is just for Disney's deluxe resorts and ourselves. So like, for example, if you're staying at the All-Star Sports or Pop Century or Caribbean Beach, you would not actually receive that benefit. That's only for Disney Deluxe Resorts and ourselves. So I guess in a way that's a little more exclusive per se. So that's another great benefit. Now, if the guests don't want, for whatever reason, to take the complimentary transportation, let's say they have their own vehicle, they can park at all the Disney theme parks and Disney Springs for free. They show their Swan Dolphin or Swan Reserve room key to do that. And that's valid for the standard parking at the theme parks as well. The only benefit that we don't have currently is, Disney reinstated their dining plan, which is a great program, but that is for Disney's own resorts. We're not part of that particular program. You can make reservations for our dining through Disney Dining, but we're not actually part of the Disney Dining program. And then the other benefit, which we're working on getting added, but we're not part of it yet, is in 2025. That's when on your arrival day, you have the option, to go to one of Disney's water parks complimentary. So we're currently not part of that, but we are working on getting that benefit added to our, I guess, treasure chest benefits per se.
Yeah.
So
Well, the good news is for UK guests is that you get water park access included in your 14-day tickets anyway.
wonderful.
So it wouldn't actually make, so for the UK guests, it wouldn't actually make any difference.
Oh,
We
okay.
already get the water parks included. Talking about water parks, let's talk about your pools, because you have some of the best swimming pools on property at Disney, don't you?
Oh, thank you. Yes, we're very fortunate. So between the three resorts, we've got 5 pools between the Swan and Dolphin, and then 1 pool at the Swan Reserve. We have our main grotto pool, which has a waterfall feature and water slide. And that actually stretches between the Swan and the Dolphin hotels. And then there's another 4 smaller pools, like lap pools, that are between the 2 properties. And then at the Swan Reserve, it has its own pool. But the one thing is that no matter which of the 3 resorts you stay at, the Walt Disney World Dolphin, which is essentially 1,500 rooms rounded. You've got the Walt Disney World Swan, which is 750 rooms. And then you've got the Swan Reserve, which is 349 rooms, but it's really configured to be about 150 1 or 2 bedroom suites. But no matter which one of the 3 you stay at, you have access to all of the amenities and facilities between the 3 resorts. So we refer to it as triplex access. But one fun fact, and it's rare that it's needed, but our pools are actually heated when needed as well, which is, you wouldn't think, but there are some days where they have to turn those heaters on. It gets a little chilly, but it's rare, but it does happen from time to time.
Yeah, I think sometimes you can tell the British people, because we'll be the only ones in the pool when anyone who's local would be looking at us like we're crazy, like, how are they going in there? It's far too cold to go in the pool. But Brits, we don't mind, because to us, it's still going to be warm.
Right.
But it's fantastic. You can use all the pools across, so you're not sort of restricted just to using one. But maybe a good sort of time to, because I think a lot of British people think that the Swan and Dolphin is one hotel.
Right.
And maybe haven't actually heard of the Swan Reserve. So just tell us a little bit more about how it's actually 3 hotels.
Yeah, so you're right. It's like, so we refer to it as our triplex. So in where we've always come out, our official name is the Walt Disney World Swan Dolphin, but they are 2 separate hotels that are connected by a walkway. And again, the Swan is essentially 750 rooms, and the Dolphin is 1,500 rooms, so about twice the size. And then literally it's connected by walkway, but right across the street is the Swan Reserve. So in the Marriott world, the Dolphin Hotel is technically a Sheraton. The Swan is a Westin. And then the Swan Reserve is actually an autograph collection resort. But again, no matter which one of the three that you stay at, you have access to everything in all three. And then from a pricing perspective, the Swan and Dolphin are very similar in pricing. The main difference really with the two hotels is currently is the bedding. So for example, the Dolphin, we our standard rooms per se is either 2 double beds or a king bed with sleeper sofa. And then at Swan, it's either 2 queen beds or a king bed with sleeper sofa. So we always think Dolphin double double and Swan queen queen. They're all the Westin Heavenly beds. And then, but so Dolphin double double, Swan queen queen. But in addition to that, both the Dolphin and Swan also have lots of different suite options and larger room types, like alcove rooms, premium rooms, junior suites, all the way up to presidential, 2-story presidential suites. So there are definitely larger room type options. But the traditional or standard rooms at the Dolphin and Swan is either, like I said, Dolphin double double, Swan queen queen. And then also one thing is that for the rooms that have the 2 beds, it's a shower tub combination in the bathroom. And then for the rooms with the king beds, it is a shower only. So that's also kind of one thing to keep in mind. And then, like I said, the Swan Reserve is really, like I said, it's 349 technically guest rooms, but it's really set up to where it can be configured into about 151 or 2-bedroom suites. So those are great for those larger families and extended families, because the 1-bedroom suites can sleep 4 to 6, and the 2-bedroom suites can sleep up to 8. And then what it is, it's you basically have a living room or parlor section that has all floor-to-ceiling windows, but it's got a queen-size sleeper sofa with 1 TV. There's a dining room table with a second TV, and then there's a credenza that there's a microwave and then a mini fridge. And then that living room will connect to 1 or 2 bedrooms. And the bedrooms can be like queen or king. And that's why it can be 4 to 6 for a 1-bedroom suite, or 2-bedroom, what we call signature suites that sleep up to 8. And one good thing too is with those suites at the Swan Reserve, you have no charge for extra adults. So you could have 8 adults in a 2-bedroom suite for the price of 1 adult. So that's one thing to keep in mind too. And then generally speaking, when it comes to our pricing, the one good thing is we're in the deluxe category, as we've touched on before, but I think it's good to keep in mind that when you're looking at our pricing, especially compared to our deluxe neighbors like the Yacht Beach and Boardwalk, you'll see that our rates actually tend to fall more in line with Disney's moderate resorts. So we're all rated in the 4-star, 4-diamond categories for all 3 resorts, but our pricing tends to be closer to Disney's 3-star, 3-diamond status, like Caribbean Beach, for example. So we're really a good value in that deluxe category for all 3 properties, and with our location, everything as well.
Yeah, whenever we kind of look at the prices, you do come up, and it is pretty much exactly the same sort of prices, sort of Port Orleans or Coronado Springs, that kind of price sort of point. So you can have the extra facilities, plus also be in the best location at Walt Disney World for the same price.
Yes.
And as you said, you get pretty much all the exact same benefits as you would do by staying in a Disney hotel, but you're getting to stay in this fantastic location. You've got the extra star as well. Tell us a little bit more about, because you've got some family rooms, you've got connecting family rooms. Is that right?
We do. We have so like especially at the Swan Reserve, we have those what we call the signature suites. Which is, like I said, it's a living room plus 1 or 2 connecting bedrooms. But then at the Swan and the Dolphin, we do have those large room types or suites. We do have what we call a premier family room, which is just larger square footage in the space. And a lot of times they'll have a super sofa couch, with one or two beds in there as well. And like I said, we have everything from executive suites at both. And one thing too, which I would be remiss, is currently at the Swan Hotel, we are undergoing what we call soft goods updates so what we're doing is we're putting in, we're about a third of the way complete. So about 250 of the 750 rooms are done. But what we're doing is we're putting in new laminate flooring in all the guest rooms. We're doing things like we're adding some, like putting in new mirrors, two new closet doors. We're like mounting the TV to the wall. So not like to the studs renovations, but more soft goods or soft touch updates. So they expect for the Swan to be completed at the end of this year. And then we'll move to the Dolphin and start that next year with the same kind of look and feel. So that's exciting that we've got going on. But at both the Dolphin and Swan, we do have all kinds of different room types.
Fantastic. And I think having that range of different size rooms, especially for the British market, because we tend to come for a bit longer, because
Right.
you're going for up to 14 nights. And if you're staying in a small room and there's four of you in a small room, tensions can run a little bit high sometimes. And I
Absolutely.
think having that extra space, or if you're staying in one of those suites where you've got the living room in the middle and then everyone sleeps off in separate rooms, that is a bit of a godsend, I think, kind of after sort of 10 days all being together. Because we was kind of say that when you're at home, the kids are at school, you're at work, and you probably see each other for about 3-4 hours per day. You're not with each other that much, and you don't all sleep in the same room. You
Right.
then go on holiday, and then suddenly you're with each other 24 hours a day, and you can't. Having the extra space, obviously, it does cost a little bit more than staying in a standard room, but I personally think it's worth it for the privacy and the extra space. And if you've got teenage kids, they definitely don't want to be in the same room as their parents.
Right.
So we sort of touched on before that in the US, breakfast isn't included as standard as part of when you stay in pretty much any hotel across the US. But you do have a massive range of restaurants on site. I mean, you could do your own Epcot food festival, just go around your restaurants. I kind of think. So, could you tell us a little bit more about the sort of different eateries that you have in the hotel, in the
Yeah,
hotel space?
we are actually, we were very fortunate. Probably one of our best features or attributes is our dining options. So between the three resorts, and again, you probably can find all the dining information on our swandolphin.com website, but we've got 23 restaurant and lounge options between the three resorts. And it's everything from, example, quick grab and go options. Like, for example, at the Dolphin, we've got a grab and go outlet that we call Fuel, which, I mean, it's got everything from a frozen yogurt station to pre-made sandwiches to made to order sandwiches, coffee, juices, a candy section, where they just and it's very popular. So they'll come in the morning, get a quick bite or take things to go, and they head out to the theme parks. And then when they come back, a lot of times people come back in the afternoon, and then hang out, and again, just grab something quick and go back out. But, so we've got everything from grab and go, but we also have what we call several of our signature restaurants. So we've got, and again, everything's casual attire. So no matter if it's a grab and go or one of our fine dining options, like at the Dolphin Hotel, we've got Shula Steakhouse, which is a fantastic steakhouse. We've got a seafood fusion restaurant called Blue Zoo. At the also, this just opened. It'll be a year St. Patrick's Day, but it's also the Dolphin. It's called Rosa Mexicano, which is actually, it's a chain in the Northeast US, and it's kind of like a Mexican fusion restaurant.
Oh, nice.
So open breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then at the Swan, we've got a great Italian restaurant called Il Molino. We've got a great Japanese sushi restaurant at the Swan called Kimonos, which also does karaoke nightly as well.
Okay. Good.
So it's good. And one thing too, which I forgot to mention as far as a benefit, which is a nice tool, is that we have our own Swan Dolphin app that is great to download, because that gives you everything from, our restaurant menus to operating hours to the activities we have going on property, to property maps. It has a live chat feature, but it's a great resource and tool to have while you're here. But yeah, we actually have our own food and wine festival that we do one weekend per year. And it's usually at the end of October, beginning of November. We call it the Swan and Dolphin Food and Wine Classic. And what we do is we line up. So the causeway or walkway between the Swan Dolphin is lined up with basically booths, and all the food is from our different restaurants, our outlets. But we call it food and wine, but we also have themed areas. Like, for example, we have like a bubbles room area. We have a Chinatown section. We have a beer garden section, and we have like food trucks as well. And then we've got live entertainment. And what it is, it's like from 5 to 9 p.m. on a Friday night and a Saturday night, and you pay one price and you get unlimited samples of everything, live music.
Wow.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
really, it's a fun event. And again, it's a good time of year because it's not nearly as hot. The weather's usually really nice, and just a fun time. So we're actually, this year will be our 15th annual, and that's Swan and Dolphin Food and Wine Classic. But and it ties in towards the tail end of Epcot's Food and Wine event as well.
And then uh, one of the great things that you also have is the Camp Dolphin as well.
Yes. Yeah. So Camp Dolphin's kind of our, it is an actual facility at the Dolphin Hotel, but it's kind of our overarching name for our activities program that we have. And again, so we have throughout the resort, we've got these digital reader boards that will list all the activities that's going on. So there's a lot of, free things, and it's actually activities for all ages. So camp, and there's also things where, for example, Camp Dolphin itself is a facility at the Dolphin. It's where the adults can drop off their kids, and they have like a 2-hour program, a 3-hour program, a 4-hour program where it includes meals, and it's almost like, so if the parents want a date night, they can drop their kids off, and I believe it's ages 4 to 12 that for the actual Camp Dolphin facility. But then they can have their own date night if they'd like. And again, but there's also activities throughout our resort grounds, so to speak, that again, whether it would be on the reader boards or through that Swan Dolphin app, where it'll let you know what's happening and when it's happening and what it's about. So yeah, it's a
So,
great program.
it sounds like a great program because, if you want to go for that date night, if you want to go off and go, if you're there in mid-November and you want to go off and go and try the Food Classic Festival, then, it's a great way to get rid of the kids for a couple of hours,
Right.
go and enjoy, go and enjoy. And as goes back to what I was saying is that we're not used to being with each other 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can break it up, because people sometimes go, well, why would we want to go? Why would the kids want to go to a kids club when they've got the theme parks next door? And you go, well, actually, sometimes they're just tired of walking, and it's a nice thing for them to sort of chill out and relax and go and do something a bit more low key.
Right.
And
Right.
then you can kind of head back to the parks because, and then brings us on quite nicely to got a nice range of bars as well. So if you do leave the kids with Camp Dolphin, then go and enjoy the bars. So you can tell us a little bit more about the bars that you have.
Yeah. So we've got, we do have a wide variety. Like a lot of our signature restaurants have nice, lounge or bar areas in those. So Shula's has got a great bar in there. We actually, our lobby bar at the Dolphin is called Finn's. So that was actually when we did our full renovations, we finished that in summer of 2018. That was one of the additions. So that's a fun thing. Lots of screens and everything there. We actually have our own craft beer called Fins and Feathers. So fins for dolphins and then feathers for the swan. So fins and
Yeah.
feathers. But also we actually outdoors, we've got Cabana Bar and Grill. So there's a bar area there. And then also it's right next to one of our lap pools. And the good thing is around which the lap pool is right next to our main grotto pool. But anyways, that whole area, there's also QR codes on all the lounge chairs to where you can just scan the QR code and order right from your chair, and they'll bring, food and drinks right out to you.
Oh,
Or of course you can go to the bar/restaurant itself. And I mentioned at Kimonos, they've got a great bar and they do karaoke nightly. So lots of, Blue Zoo is they specialize in their, they call it the Zootini, which is one of their specialty drinks.
ooh.
And then of course, Rosa Mexicano, which is the restaurant I mentioned, that's our newest one. They have all these specialty margaritas and 100 plus tequila brands and varieties. So lots of, libation options, between the 3 resorts that we've got.
I think scanning that QR code and just having drinks brought over to you. That sounds quite dangerous, but it sounds perfect to me because, especially because of where your location is, you can pop back. If you've been to Epcot or Hollywood Studios in the morning, you can pop back, go and chill out by the pool and relax. And why not? You're on holiday, have a drink,
Right.
and you don't even have to get up as well. You don't have to let that sun lounger go. You just sit there and
Yeah.
have your drink. And then karaoke, you've had a few drinks around World Showcase, you probably will be up for a bit of
Exactly.
karaoke
Yeah.
afterwards. Yeah, I think karaoke just sounds, well, you haven't heard me sing, but yeah, it sounds like a great idea to go and do after you've had a few drinks around World Showcase, and then or maybe a few around the pool. I think so.
For
It's
sure.
great that there's entertainment to do. There's things to do during the day, but there's things to do when the park closes. So if Epcot closes at 9, for example, you're thinking, "Well, I don't want to go to bed now.
Right.
What do I do?" And you have those extra things you can do. So it isn't just back to the room, fall asleep, and then back up again in
Yeah.
the morning.
And then the
Yeah,
good thing too is, just adjacent to us is the whole boardwalk resort area. So you're within walking
yeah.
distance to the dining and entertainment options there too. So this location, we're just really fortunate to be in the location that we're at.
And it is generally one of the best, probably is the best location to be in all of Orlando because you said you've got boardwalks, so you can go in the restaurants and things like that. There, you can walk to the two theme parks if you
Mhm.
want to. Get something from fuel the first thing in the morning, and then eat it whilst walking down. Take a nice leisurely stroll, or get on the boats or the
Right.
Skyliner. But such a great location, especially for especially well, it's great location if you've got little kids because if you want to pop back in the afternoon and have a nap or go to the pool and chill out, sort of cool down a little bit because
Right.
British kids aren't used to the heat, so sometimes they overheat a little bit whilst
Yeah.
they're out in
Sure.
the Florida sun and it's getting sort of 90 degrees. We're not used to this, so the kids have to go and chill out and relax. So one of the other great things, and I think a lot of people don't realize you can do this, is you can actually get married at the Swan and Dolphin, can't you?
Yes, absolutely. We actually have our own wedding team, so you can do as much Disney, like if you want to bring in characters, things like that. But one thing that's really popular, so the Swan Reserve, our very top floor of that is called the View, VUE, and it's gorgeous. It literally it's all glass all the way around, and then there's basically an outdoor section. There is kind of like a big foyer and a ballroom section, but it's truly a spectacular view of Orlando and of course all the Disney theme parks. So since we've opened that just like I said 2+ years ago, uh, we started off with one like catering slash wedding coordinator there, and they've had to add 2 more people just because it's such a popular venue for weddings. But besides that, we also have, indoor and outdoor spaces between all 3 resorts. So we do quite a bit of weddings. And like I said, we have our own wedding team. We also partner with Disney. So if you want to do things, like so with characters, or if you want to do like an event, like a dessert reception at Epcot, for example, you can do that as well by when you have your wedding with us too. And that's one thing too for any of the groups that applies as well. So if you have a leisure group, for example, staying at our resorts and they want to do a dessert party at Epcot, they have access to do that as well. So, but yes, we do quite a bit of weddings. And like I said, that view, the top floor of the Swan Reserve has quickly probably become our most popular spot for where the weddings are taking place between the 3 resorts.
Yeah. I think that having a little look at the different wedding locations, I think that would be the one that I would choose.
Yeah,
Maybe time it with maybe the fireworks or
ex-
something like that. Maybe
exactly. Which,
around 9 o'clock, and
yep,
yeah,
and a lot of people
yeah,
do that. Absolutely.
fantabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you if you had the choice
Right.
between doing it during the day or but having the fireworks as well? Because you can see if you go onto the Swan and Dolphin website, you can see some of the pictures from there and the view. It's not just a little view. You can see everything, can't
Yeah,
you? You've
you
got
truly
these
can.
amazing panoramic views, and
Yes.
some of the views in the hotel look the other way and you can see like the Tower of Terror. You can see kind of over to
Ex-
Hollywood Studios. Just shows you how close it is.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. The view is really a great and great spot. But yeah, with the three properties, like you said, depending on where part of the property, you also, even just walking between the Swan and Dolphin, you see the spaceship Earth at Epcot, you have a great, just seeing the fireworks right from there. So yeah, it's lots of great viewing spots, whether you're, up at the top floor or you're just amongst the resort area itself. There's great spots around for viewing.
That's fantastic. And I said, brilliant location. But it's not just the location; it is a fantastic hotel or a group of hotels. So, you're just blessed with having this amazing location as well. So let's pick your brains, as
Okay.
because you're from Florida itself, which is quite strange. Because most time we speak to people who are from Minnesota and from Iowa and places like that, and they've just moved because it's so cold where they live, and they moved to Florida. But you're actually from Florida itself, and this is I think you said it was your 13th year at the
13th
Swan and
year.
Dolphin.
Yeah. 13th year
Fantastic. So
yeah, with the Swalfin, as I like to call it.
yeah.
But yes, so been here but love the resorts, very much. Yeah. So, and then 21 years between Marriott and Starwood, but 13 years here specifically with the resorts.
Fantastic. So you must have a tip or two for everyone.
Yeah, well, generally
Hopefully.
speaking, a couple of things that I always recommend. Firstly, is that when just coming to stay with us, I would say the further out that you can book, the better off, because that's when you always will get typically the best rates. As we get closer in, the rates tend to go up. So the further out you can book, the better value and savings that you're going to get. Um, I would definitely too. One great thing is to take advantage of the benefits when you're here, and some good times too. Like the 30-minute early access, is great because it's not as crowded. So you can get a head start on those rides. And then especially that extended hours benefit where you get 2 hours additional, that's really a great thing to take advantage of if you're not totally wiped out, because that's another one where the parks just aren't nearly as crowded as during the peak of the day. And usually it's not as crazy hot either too. As far as, traveling, if you can do it, we were talking about this earlier, is that usually, especially like January January, February is a great time to go. It's not as crowded, and usually it's not nearly as hot. So you can see a lot more at the theme parks and not have those lines, and they'll get things with Disney lifting their theme park reservations. I know that's made it easier overall.
Mhm.
And also with our properties too, the guest, with the Genie Plus reserve, they can do that connected with our properties as well. Um, Also the slowest months of the year, actually, and I think you mentioned it's partially due to a lot of children going back to school, but usually mid-August through September is probably the slowest time of the year. Now it's really hot, but if you can brave the heat, that's where you'll find the best deals in the Orlando market, generally speaking. And the most availability it's just, like I said, a lot of it's just due to all the kids, across everywhere is going back to school in that general time frame. But, but yeah, so that's a good time of year. And usually if you're traveling, like, let's say the weeks after, whether it be international or even US based holidays, like for example, if you go the week after July 4th, it's not quite as busy as July 4th holiday. If you go early part of like mid-December, the first couple weeks in December is a good time for the Orlando market because it hasn't ramped up for the holidays just yet. It's after the US Thanksgiving. So it's almost kind of like a shoulder season or time to go to. But those are some good tips. And then, yeah, like I said, it's usually when you go to the theme parks, like I said, the earlier you can go, the better. And then I've always heard that it's good to aim left when you're going through the theme parks,
Yeah.
as far as tackling the attractions and things like that. But well, those are just some of the pointers for our properties too. And then one little thing that's a tip is that at the Swan and Dolphin hotels, we also have Disney planning centers, which is basically Disney concierge. It's staffed by Disney. And so they can help the guests with everything A to Z, anything Disney related. So it's a great little side, I guess, benefit or feature to have. We do have a desk at the Swan Reserve. It's just not staffed yet. And we're also, the one thing that we're hoping to get back this year is the Disney character dining, which we were hoping later this year, but it's more Disney. They're still trying to fully staff back up with characters. They do have character dining at the theme parks, and I think maybe Four Seasons, but we're hoping later this year we'll get back with that. And of course, we'll let everyone know when that gets back on for our resorts.
Be fantastic if you can get the character dining back as well, because it just means that you're not doing it in the park. I always kind of say the ones at the hotels tend to be a bit of a nicer, because you're not rushing. You haven't gone, you haven't just gone on teacups or something like that, and then rushing over. Like, we were late. We need to be there for a certain time, and then
Right.
we've got a Genie Plus reservation for something else later. We've got to hurry up. If
Yeah.
you're doing it in a hotel, you're pretty relaxed and sort of chilled out. But yeah, all the times of the year you mentioned, those are the times of the year we always recommend people to go. Especially, and having that extra potentially few hours by being with the extended theme park hours for deluxe hotels. Me personally, I would, if it was Epcot, I would maybe take an afternoon little jump in the pool, maybe
Mhm.
have a drink you scan the QR code, get someone to bring over a drink, head back a bit later on, and then enjoy the park whilst you've pretty much got the park. Because I've been in there before when it's just been the deluxe, and you pretty much get the place to yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You really do.
stay up later. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Such an amazing benefit to be able to have by staying there and having those extra couple of hours. And you can do so much more. We always say to people, it's not how long you go for, it's when you go, and it's what you do. Because you could go for 2 weeks, but if you're going for 2 weeks right over 4th of July or Thanksgiving or over Christmas or Easter, that's 2 weeks of it being extremely busy. If you go for 10 nights in shoulder season, you can get just as much done with less people around. And
Absolutely.
especially if you get an extra 2 hours in the evening, you've got the
Right.
extra half an hour in the morning,
Right.
you can be straight on to Rise of Resistance, especially where you are as well. You'll walk to Hollywood Studios, you'll be on Rise of Resistance first,
Exactly.
get there straight away. You don't even have to worry about transport. You get up and go.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no waiting for buses or anything like that. Just walk first thing in the morning. Get yourself,
Exactly.
get the blood going, get the energy going, get in, tank it up to Rise of Resistance, and then get that over and done with before the regular guests are getting into
Yeah.
the park.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Um, just to recap, fantastic location, 4-star, amazing hotel. You can even get married if you wanted to at Walt Disney World at the Swan Dolphin or the Swan Reserve. So thank you very much, Chris, for spending the time with us today. It's been extremely useful. So thank you much.
And thank you, Martin. Really appreciate the time and this opportunity. And we look forward to, come on down and come visit with us.
Absolutely no problems. Excellent. You're very, very welcome. So thank you much and have a magical day.
Hey, you too. Thanks so much.